Been on them altars lately and seeing everything as an altar and taking the spookiness off of altars, and I've been doing some stuff.
I don't know why this reference came up. Tales from the Crypt this week. You like the opposite. You
What you
like the
mean?
de-spookify.
Yeah,
Tales from the Crypt made everything spooky. You the opposite.
shoot.
Tales for the Kingdom.
I mean, that's the point. Because the point is, what the devil do is he make it spooky, then he take it over. That's because we talk about with Bev Tucker, he's a legalist, so he gonna use the law
Mm,
since he don't got grace. He gonna use every dot, every I, and every T to make sure whatever he want to get done. But if he make
mm,
us think then that like these principles and things are just spooky, then we ain't gonna do them, and you whooping us with technicalities. Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's a lot in that. The first thing I always think about is deliverance and how, you know, I always thought about delivering somebody like casting spirits out and them running around and shaking on the floor and all of that. And like, not that that is not somebody's experience,
Yeah,
but just like how we can be having deliverance every day. I
every
learned that from you. And just, maturing. It's like you're supposed to be having deliverance every day. Deliverance is just a revelation. It can be getting reclaiming your time, reclaiming a soul time. Like it's just so many things that are like we can be walking with, but to your point, like the enemy made it so spooky that like people are like deliverance. Oh no, you know what I mean? Like, what's that? Or like, oh, I seen movies about that, and or right, horror, literally like, or you
yep.
got some nun in some Catholic church and they trying to cast the demon out, and like, and again, not to like listen. That's not my experience, but I think sometimes we only show those types of experiences and we just don't talk to like the daily deliverance we can be experiencing on a regular basis. So I love that you always talk about like not making things spooky because it really, I feel like that's a part of the reason I've gotten so much power back is because things that became so religious or so spooky that actually you're supposed to be is a part of your power pack, if you will. It's like it's a part of a kingdom key. Deliverance is a kingdom key. It's something that like
Mm-hmm.
is your portion, but if you think it's spooky, then you're not going to reap the benefits of it.
Yeah, and if you don't see it as love, like
Right.
it's an ends to a mean. Like you don't stop at deliverance. Like we don't say, hey, let me get delivered. It's like once you get delivered, now you get to heal. Like that's the part that people don't see. Like deliverance is great, and being broken, things being broken off of us is great. And it's like after that, that's when it starts. Like healing is deliverance is the beginning. Like healing is the journey. It's like that's the main thing that takes
Mm,
time, and
mm,
we can't put a time limit on healing.
yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true. I don't know. Is this something you want to know this week? Is this something you want to check in on?
Yeah, who has shown up? You ain't got to say the specific names, but who's shown up in the last 24 hours or last
Hmm.
week?
Man, a lot has shown up. Because it's like, I think that like God will hide aspects of people from you until the right moment. And so somebody that you are familiar with or has been in your life in one way can be a part of the new thing God is doing in your life when God is ready to reveal it. And so I feel like that's one thing that's happening is like God is revealing a part of someone that is a part of like where we are and where we're going with our business. And it just had to be God's timing. It had to be the right time. It had to be the right posture, the right spiritual condition. Because so much that gets in the way of the work is us. We talk about this all the time. We are the work. Even when people are talented and gifted, and that's what I love about the way we all work together. It's like even when somebody is talented genius, gifted, it's like if their spiritual conditioning is not right, it's going to limit their capacity. Not even their capacity, it's going to limit their potential. Right, it's going to limit the expression, the potency by which God can work through them. And so I love that when people come into our lives, we're becoming so conscious of people's spiritual condition and wanting them to get conditioned spiritually so that they can sustain where God is trying to take us in the natural realm. And I feel like that is one thing that's happening where it's like, so, and as a part of that process, then it's like people become more potent in certain areas and certain aspects. And then all of a sudden you're seeing them in a new way and like the way they fit into maybe something God is revealing in life. So that's something I would say is like old people showing up in new ways as a result of spiritual acceleration. And then also just God confirming there's just been like things prophetically I felt like for the work we're doing, the type of people that I felt like we would be called to serve with best work, God just sending former NFL players or former athletes are showing up. And we had always felt like the work we are doing with best work would resonate with that profile because of they're used to running a system. And so God is just showing is he's just sending people to confirm that as well. And so, yeah, like everything in God's timing. And now that we live by the principle of addition, where we are seeking the kingdom, living in alignment, living in righteousness, and all is being added to us, I'm so much more astute in paying attention to who God sends and when and what it says about where we are in the process. Like it's like a wink between you and God. It's time, you know what I mean? And so I kind of am noticing that about the people showing up, like they kind of signal where we are and what phase and what stage we're in based on who God is sending at this time. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, what I heard,
It's like who showed up.
that man said old people showing up in new versions, like people becoming
Hmm.
new versions of themselves,
Hmm.
which we talked about before, but it's like it's different as you navigate in it. It's like it takes grace for both of y'all. It takes grace for you to not bind that person to the
Hmm.
version of them that you knew. Like
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
more of the part than even the person
Yeah.
like having the environment to grow. It's like
Yeah.
me letting you grow. Like
Hmm.
with me and Lindsay, it's like, oh, like, all right, you didn't never take trash out. Now you're taking trash out now. It's like I could still be replaying the Lindsay that didn't take trash out. When it's like, hey, I'm different now. I'm doing the things. And we can keep people in a certain place. And that's what we talked about last week about like condemnation. It's like you
Yeah.
can condemn somebody. So man, I speak life over that relationship with your friend that's growing and also, you know what I'm saying, with you letting them grow. Cause that's a big job, not keeping people where they at.
Yeah, and like it's not I think also like besides the growth part, I think it's more so about like our dynamic is more so about like larger body, right? Like it's about like what the body needs, where when people show up, not just using people. Like I feel like this happens in church all the time. It's like using people for gifts,
Come
but
on.
not necessarily caring about where they are. And so I think we're being so hyper intentional about that. So it's like even when people are genius at what they do, we're always still mining for where are you? Do you need rest, right? Do you need more time? Do you need community right now? Do you need to empty out? Do you need, you know what I mean? Like there's so many factors with everybody, like literally like it can be not even just like I think we talk about things sometimes as if it's like where someone is in their journey versus it could be even like for me like learning to we were having a conversation about this is like when you come back from spending time with your family, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like not realizing that like you need to cleanse because perhaps that the things you've been the generational curses you've been breaking and the things that you've been doing in your life and your experience when you get around your family, like there might be openings for that to come back, right? Like, and you don't even realize it because there's patterns and all this stuff. And so I think it's like as we mature and then we go back into the field, whatever that looks like, we're learning what it means to be in the world and not of it, in like time and the recovery process and the recovery time and all that comes with that. I think that's what the maturity comes with. It's like to me, somebody that's just starting off playing basketball and they're really good at it versus somebody like 10 years in the game when they've learned like, oh, it's not just about being good at the game. It's also about conditioning. It's about like, how do I sustain at this level? It's about how do I take care of my body, right? Like, it's like that to me, I think is what is the biggest growth cycle, is like the maturity to steward the gift, to be submitted to God in the process, and to influence the world and not be influenced by it. Like, that's work. All of that happening is work. That does not come easy for any of us, right? Like, and so it's like we're learning through each other. So like I'm learning that through my own experiences. We're learning that, like, and so that's what I would say, like, is what I'm realizing more than anything, is like just how much work is happening spiritually and in different contexts. The work when you are with a kingdom community and people who are believers is different than the work when you get around a bunch of unbelievers. There's work that's happening and you don't even realize it, but it's like it's being in warfare. And it's not, we know we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against, principalities and powers and all of that. And it's like I don't think we realize that every time we're going to work or we're going to be around family and we're not necessarily in a kingdom environment where people have set the environment and the intention for that environment to be the kingdom of God where they are, you are engaging in labor. And so it's tiring, right? And so, and it comes with stuff. And then, you know what I mean? So it's like, that to me is maturity. That's what I'm learning. It's like when we talk about, even as we go into this conversation of rest, the maturity is knowing like the different types of rest you need, why you need rest, what are you actually recovering from? Like there's so many like levels to this that I think we are maturing in as we walk this out. Because when you're just living in the world's way and you just doing it the world's way, everybody getting whooped and it's just normal.
Hmm.
So you just
Yeah.
come home, you gossip about it, you know what I'm saying? You talk about it,
Drink,
and it's just
drinks,
like
drinks,
you
drink,
drink,
smoke,
smoke, right, right,
watch
whatever you got to
something,
do.
forget about it.
Yeah, and you forget about it and you move on to the time you encounter it again, and it's just a cycle. Versus like when you really are committed and to moving a different way.
Yeah. One of the apostles that we all watch, she said it in a great way. And she was talking about Apostle Izzy, and she was talking about the fruits of the Spirit and how great the fruits of the Spirits are, and how the fruit of the Spirit is expressed, and the difference between the fruit of the Spirit and the seven spirits of God from Isaiah 11. And Isaiah 11, where it talks about the Spirit of the Lord being the first Spirit, and she talked about like the old school lantern, like the lantern. He was talking about the light of the world, and he was talking about in Matthew 5:13. And so the Spirit of the Lord, like that's the vessel, is the Spirit of the Lord. In order to have all these other spirits, you have to have the Spirit of the Lord in it. And then it pairs the six other spirits. And I think it is the spirit of wisdom, understanding, counsel, might, knowledge, and fear of the Lord. But she was saying that that specific seven spirits of God is what we
Hmm.
use when we're in the world. That's how you be in the world, not of it. Because you need the Holy Spirit first. That's the vessel. But then you need to operate with wisdom and understanding to navigate in the world. That's how you be in the world, not of it. You need wisdom and understanding to navigate these conversations. And then you need counsel because people can come to you. And then you need the dunamis might, the power to know that my altar is bigger than your altar. And then also you need knowledge. And the only way to apply that knowledge is to have a love for the Lord, which is the fear of the Lord. And it sounds like the more, when she broke that down to me, it changed everything with me. Cause it's like, of course, the fruit of the Spirit is expressed and it's easier to be expressed in the context of a kingdom community. But the seven spirits of the Lord, that's more for the world. Like when we're in the world, we need to be like you said, highly sensitive and operating on those seven more attentively than even expressing the love, the peace, and the joy. Like it's good to express those, of course, and those seven are things that we need to be anchored in. Like that's how you can like that's a lantern that you can just walk around with and be the light of the world. When you're operating with the Spirit of the Lord, the Holy Spirit, when you're operating with wisdom, when you're operating with understanding, you're operating with counsel, you're operating with might, you're operating with knowledge, and then you have a reverence for God. Like all those things help you maneuver in all these situations, and like I said, gives you a different level of sensitivity while you're in these spaces. Because that's what I rely on while I'm at work. You know what I'm saying? That's how I get to stay integrated, leaning on that more than anything else. So no, that's good, man. That's powerful. That God was really thinking to you. And when you was talking about that, I mean, you made me think about um, this great player, basketball player. He was great, but he didn't think about his career. His name was Derrick Rose. He won MVP, but he blew his knees out because he was just like going crazy. Like he like say he was young and gifted. And then I automatically think about LeBron James, like somebody who spends $2-3 million a year on conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
Like he gonna play the game, but as soon as the game's over, he's got ice packs on, huh? He's got masseuse, huh? Like he got all this stuff going because even though I just got out of the game, I know the game. There's a game inside of the game that's outside of the game. So there's a game that's inside here that like my recovery time is what really matters. So like that's the
Mm-hmm.
difference between somebody young who blew their knee out and somebody who has a career who's still going at 40s in his 40s. So that's the first thing I heard. So that's real good. So the main thing is it's a marathon, not a sprint. And
Yeah,
like
for sure.
and taking your time, like when you know that, like there's no destination. It's just like take your time and pace yourself through it. So no, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful to be learning.
So good.